Hey guys, Grumbles here. Stay tuned until the end of the video. I'll show you a top sneaky tip on how to get 200 Eonite cells, fuel cells, for absolutely free. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to part 5 of my campaign starter guide. We're back mining the stars by popular demand. And rather excitingly, we have patch 4 on the live branch of the game, albeit you'll see the version listed at the top of your screen as 0.33.5.0 at the time of this recording. Numbers,
Warning, low energy.
So far, I haven't seen any issues with game saves relating to the updated version. Let me know in the comments if you have, and remember to use the in-game feedback functionality to let the devs know about any bugs. It really helps them. As for this episode, having sorted out some initial mining and refining automation, we're now going to take a brief look at the blueprint system, our hangar ship's storage, and then get into some weapons talk as we look at some of the side quests available in early access. Keep in mind that this series is not meant to be a playthrough showcasing the best possible actions and ships. It is intended to guide you through some of the early game activities and give a brief overview of game content. With that said, let's get to it. Okay, so where last we left off, we had our little mining ship here and our drill. The drill, both of them attacking an ice asteroid, and have an automation job set up to send any chunks that we receive across to our refining ship. You can see the water chunks, the ice chunks coming out there. We're also, as you can clearly hear, getting warned that this ship, our mining Swiss Army knife ship, our utility vessel, is not sufficiently powered for the additional tier 2 laser that we put on it, and basically all the things that are running on there right now. Tier 1 refinery, tier 2 lab, and so forth. So we're going to turn our mining lasers off for a moment and just move a little bit away from this asteroid. Give ourselves a little bit of space. And yeah, thanks again for all the comments, thumbs up and everything. Lots and lots of people subbing and enjoying the videos. I really appreciate most of all the feedback, people passing on a few hints and tips of their own from their experiences, but especially those just letting me know that the series is making a difference for you and really helping you to get to grips with the game and everything. I appreciate that. We did have a comment requesting very politely a look at the blueprint system, and I've been quite intrigued and not really had much of a chance to look at it myself yet, so I figured we'll slot that one into this video, into this episode. Yes, I know about low energy. We've got the grips of that now. What we'll do is temporarily we will turn off our no, we can't turn that, that's not doing anything. Let's turn our lab off. So if I right click on there and just click produce, it'll stop producing research for a bit, and that will allow us to gain energy. That was what was the main draw of energy right now. We can fill our batteries up just so that we're not being shouted at the whole time. Right, so blueprints then. Now again, I haven't delved very deeply into this. I've had a brief look and a little play, and I've noticed a couple of things. We are in this new patch 4 or 33.5 version, as you can see at the top of the screen. So some of the buttons have moved around. They've created these 4 different modes for us to utilize: the tactical default mode, the pilot mode, which puts you behind the ship like so, and right click starts to move your thrusters and everything, and you can direct your ship that way, whilst also being able to zoom in and out. And you have autopilot mode, so that the left click and hold to create autopilot points is only something which is visible and used in that mode. Therefore you can avoid any sort of irritation or accidentally setting autopilot routes or just entering that mode when you didn't mean to. And last but not least, they have toggle build mode, so you can click that button. You can see the save as blueprints button here at the top to create a blueprint from your current ship, and the create build point a build point in space for you to start creating a brand new ship or station. So you can still press the B key to turn that on and off. Also worth drawing your attention in the UI changes that at the bottom left you now have a show or hide automation window, which actually just brings up a new trade automation dialog box, and funnily enough, if you click it again, it doesn't go away. So the mouse over text is not correct, or the functionality isn't working as intended either way. So let's have a look briefly at blueprints, but before we do so, we're going to fly our ship, because for convenience sake, we're going to fly our ship over towards our Pannonia 2, our Battlestar, or hangar ship, as I should give it the proper name. Gonna get them into some kind of trademark infringement issue. Anyway, so let's move over towards the Pannonia 2. Again, we're going to avoid these little pirate drones up here. We could go and we'll probably go and have a fight with them afterwards when we talk about the weapons part. But let's have a look at the blueprints first. Typically what I'm finding with your ships, depending on how well they're handling, if you hover over the ship and you can see the distance on the marker there, and it's about 2,000 meters, that's kind of a very comfortable distance, maybe a little bit too far out, but that's a good distance. I'm finding to just turn the linear dampness back on, or just at least dampen your speed and your movement of your own volition or your own choosing through using the WSD hacks and so forth. But it's a good rule of thumb, and again, I still stand by my suggestion that you should always be careful and never aim directly at your target, be it an asteroid, a station, a ship, whatever. Just, go a little bit off to the side or a little bit above and below, and just make little adjustments as you're flying, just so that you avoid having to do another reload, really. Okay, so why did I come over here? Because we might need some additional resources, and you'll remember that earlier in the campaign we transferred 500 silicate over to the Pannonia as part of a request from the AI system to do repairs and whatnot and get itself back functional. It turns out that those resources are just sitting on the ship. So if you click the Pannonia, you'll see on the left hand side you have 500 tons of silicates just sitting there, which can be very handy when it comes to building new stuff. It will save you quite a bit of time of mining and refining. We have a little bit of resource built up on our mining ship already, so go ahead and get some if you want to, follow along. More than welcome to follow along, even if the guide isn't necessarily designed exactly like that. Click on build mode, and in order to use a blueprint, we're going to click on build point. It's going to just put a little point out here not far from our ship. We're going to grab the little circle right in the middle, and we're just going to drag that slowly and carefully. Don't go too fast or move your mouse too far, because the build point will just suddenly fly like 6 kilometers through the air, and that's a little bit fiddly. So just click the center of it and drag it along. You can also use the arrows to move it in various directions. It's a little bit small. Again, so accessibility, or if you have vision issues or whatever, it might be a little bit fiddly to see some of this stuff. Don't be afraid to zoom into it, make it a little bit clearer for you, but typically you'll be out here moving around, and just have a little play with that. Again, slow, gentle movements with the mouse. Don't do anything too crazy, and it will eventually come to rest somewhere where you want to build something. Now, depending on the size of the blueprints, obviously you're going to want to have a bit more space from your various ships and that, but this should do just fine for us. And what we're going to look at here, in the build menu at the top, you have the different categories. So it starts with all possible build items, and then you can go through these various categories, and it will show you what you can possibly drop kind of just into space. And you can see that there's a limited selection. The last one here is like a sheet of paper. I guess it's meant to be a blueprint. To me it looks purple, but I know plenty of people with different degrees of color blindness or whatever, so in any case, it's the little paper with up and down arrows on it. Click on that, and that will give you a list of all of the ships that you have blueprinted so far. And this is what I've blueprinted from different playthroughs. not just your current playthrough, but everything that you've saved in the game so far. So some of these you'll recognize, and some of them might look a little bit different, like this Commander 2 balls here, which is just from my live stream playthrough. Okay, what we're going to do to start with something nice and easy, not too expensive to build, is we're going to try and build the solar wing, which is a blueprint we learned during the tutorial. So again, my assumption is you've played through the tutorial and you have accomplished that solar wing blueprint. If not, and you need to create a brand new blueprint, then just press B to come out of build menu, go back to your mining ship, click B on it, and click save station as blueprint for later use at the top of the screen. So clicking up there, and then we can just call this mining ship 1 from our let's say beginner's guide, and then just click. It'll tell you all of the pieces that are going to be saved, and then you click save, and that's it. So that's how you create a blueprint. Maybe I should have started there. Okay, back to our build point. You can see that our new blueprint is now appearing in the list. Mining ship 1 BG. There we go. At the bottom of the screen, it will show you, if you actually hover over solar wing and then move your mouse off to the right or the left, go down here to this area, you can see which components you're going to need and how much energy that's going to take to build. So 160 iron, 305 silicate, 16 cobalt, and 1710 energy. On the left, you can see I have enough iron stored on my mining ship. I have enough silicate for about half, 2/3. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one there. So stay on solar wing. Don't hover over any of these other items, or the blueprint will change that you're looking at. And we're going to need some silicate, and that's why I flew over to our big bird, our hangar over here, because that way, rather than going out to mine and refine some more silicates, we can just grab some from inside the Pannonia 2. Right, so what we're going to do is click on solar wing, left click, and we'll find nothing happens. Why? Because it says in the text box there, module not researched, tier 2 energy battery. So an important point of placing blueprints is you have to know how to build, so you have to have unlocked and done the research on all of the items. It doesn't count that we've got these on other ships that we've taken over. That doesn't mean you learn or unlock the technology, at least not in this version of the game so far. You have to unlock it in the research window. Now you have two choices immediately at this point. You can either oops, I closed that off, that was unfortunate. Let's see, build point, solar wing. You can either come down, no, you can't do that actually, forget what I said. We'll edit that bit out. Okay, so you're going to have to learn the tier 2 energy battery, or we won't be able to build that blueprint at all. We won't be able to place the blueprint. So we're going to hit tab, we're going to go to research, we're going to go to I think it's under mining. Yes, tier 2 energy battery. Click that one. Sorry, I did that too quickly. It's going to cost 7,000 credits, but no technology points, research points. So we're going to click that, click confirm. It says upgrade complete, as in we've upgraded our brains or something. Now if we go to solar wing, oh wait, sorry, you have to close, come out of build mode, click on it again, and now the solar wing has an ever so subtle grey hue behind, as like a drop shadow box behind the wording, and basically that means we can now place it. So we click on that, and hey presto, that is now in position. Now because our mining ship is close by, it's going to start sending our construction vehicles and using our construction tower out to start building this. If you want to avoid that, you can go to your mining ship and just turn build repair off, and that will stop the construction process. I'm going to leave that like that for a second because there's a couple of things that are worth noting. One is you've got the symbol here to take control of this, but it has the little white plus on top of the yellow hexagon background. That means, similar to how we've done before, we don't have possession of this blueprint. This seems slightly odd to me. I don't know if they'll change this in the game, but in any case, you should note that if you see that little plus symbol, it means you haven't taken possession, you don't own this blueprint or this station yet. So right click on it, click possess, it's now ours. Okay, the other thing I want to draw your attention to, I probably should have turned the construction off on the mining ship first as a step, but hopefully we haven't gone too far into it. You can see some of the building progress that's been made so far, and the energizing is the green line underneath. What you can do is you can actually edit this blueprint before you continue any further. Once you've taken possession of it, you can right click on these individual items like this tier 2 energy battery, and if you wanted to, you could click on there and click scrap, and that obviously doesn't give you resources back, but that will prevent that item from being built at all. It will just be completely removed like that from the blueprint. So you can, as long as you know all the pieces of a blueprint, you can place the blueprint, and then if you have your construction switched off, you can go around and edit it and make adjustments. If you're like, oh, I'd really like to build that solar wing, but I don't like, for example, I don't like that it has thermal dumpers, I want to put radiators on it. So you can click on management here and you can press scrap. Let's take a couple of those off, like so. Now what you can do is, if you go to build mode, that was with build mode off, if you click B for build mode, we could now, for example, say, well, I'm gonna put thermal radiators on there instead, and do that again. There we go. So we've now begun making active design changes to this blueprint before anything has even been fully constructed. Again, the only trigger that was necessary was having all the technology research for all of the pieces that are on here. I kind of wish you could place whatever, and then it wouldn't let you build blueprint parts that you haven't learned yet, so you'd have to remove them in order to like even begin construction on the blueprint at all. But I do understand why they've done it like this, I suppose, because they want to avoid people kind of cheesing it or somehow unlocking things they don't have access to yet. Let's go ahead and put that energy battery back on for now. Just anyway, we're just going to randomly build this solar wing blueprint that we've made some adjustments to. So let us go back to our mining ship, come out of build mode if you're in it, and turn our construction build repair. So either press B or
construction online.
Just turn the construction back online. And now what you'll see is our construction tower and our little build module are going to start firing away and just filling these pieces in. It kind of does it randomly. I haven't yet really seen, I thought there was a way of prioritizing which piece you're building, but I haven't really seen that. The one thing you could do is you could right click on one of the pieces to be built, and in the management tab you can click toggle construction, and it will put a big pause icon on the blueprint, and that means that piece won't be built until you unpause it again afterwards. So that would be a way that you can manually prioritize which pieces you want build. There we go. We'll toggle that back on. Okay, so whilst we wait for that construction to continue, you can hover over each of the pieces that are not finished yet, and you can see on the left hand side at the bottom the overview window showing you how many pieces are missing, of which type, and the energy status for it being built and so forth and brought online, its mass and all that kind of glorious detail. At some point we're going to run out of silicates on our ship, because as we noted, we needed 305 and we had just under 200. So we are going to run out of silicates. In order to resolve that, we're going to do a trade, because we're close enough to the Pannonia. We're going to do a trade with that to go and get the silicates that we need. But rather than doing it the traditional way that we've done so far, I'm going to include a bonus bit of tip and helpful information on here. We're just going to let this build as much of it, I guess, as it can. Or actually what we can do is take over our mining ship and turn building off again. Oh, sorry, wrong button. There we go. Click on the bar at the bottom there. Turn construction off. So we're going to leave that half built for a minute, and we know that we need to go and get about 105 to 110 silicates more. So we could just do a trade and have it taken across, but again, just to showcase this for you, because I think this is really handy, and it did get a little bit of a fix in the patch as well, so it's relevant. I've got my linear dampeners on, and I'm just watching my speed so I don't go too fast careering into the ship. Remember, linear dampeners doesn't mean it's gonna stop on a dime or stop instantly. It just means it's gonna start slowing down as soon as you take your finger off whichever propulsion buttons you're using. So be careful. Right, we're going to come over to here, and we're actually going to dock into the station like so, using the dock button on the top left. And in here, with this ship docked, we can now, not only can we switch between our ships as we did before, but we can also trade between our ships. On the top left, you can see details of the Pannonia. So how much Eonite fuel it has left, nuclear fuel cells on board, ordnance, so these are package items. And then you can see how much storage is taken up, how many colonists are aboard, and so forth, how much water. Now what you can do is, you can click on where it says silicates, and that will transfer as much as we choose. We just take 150 random number instantly across to the right hand side of the screen, where you see the summary of the mining ship 1, because that's the selected ship we've got on dock stations on the left. So up here now, we've just instantly transferred 150 silicates across from the Pannonia 2 back onto our mining ship. We can now click undock, wait for that to load in, close off the objective reminder, and then very carefully, with 150 silicates now back on board, we can turn build repair mode back on, spin our ship round, and take our construction tower back over, being very careful not to hit this asteroid that's right under our belly. Actually, we can turn our scanners off for a moment, because that's using up energy that's not necessary. And yeah, here we go. We're sailing back over here, and as soon as we're in range, we have a good angle. There we go. We're going to resume construction of our solar wing blueprint. Now we have enough to complete the job.
Completed.
There's the Hulk done. Let's see, I can try and get you a better camera angle. Could use the free cam, I guess. And what you want to do is, you know, you have your little builder devices, your builder constructors or whatever that'll fly out and do it.
Construction completed.
But it's much more efficient if you use the construction tower laser. There we go. And then, yeah, up here, they finished the second radiator. Bang! And that's it. We've now built a solar wing from a blueprint. If you've done something similar, whichever blueprint it was you picked, and you had enough mining resources, or you got them from wherever you could, you will now have a successfully built new grid. So if we press N, we'll see, okay, where's the front? Okay, the red arrow that way, the horizontal arrows if you don't see the color. Where is up, as it were, top of the ship, is the white and grayish arrows pointing that way. Remember that you can turn the navigation mode off and hit the gimbal tool down at the bottom if you want to turn that around and change it for whatever reason. This one seems completely fine to me. So we're now going to be able to just maneuver this around. You can see that it's using up a bit of energy, and it's not actually storing any solar power yet. So when you finish a Hulk, it comes with 500 energy. What you have to do is turn the grid online. That powers everything on, and because we've got solar cells attached, it's now immediately gone off to collect some energy for us.
Grid offline.
We'll turn that off again for a moment, because I just want to show you, give you a little hint about something that I believe I've reported as a bug. It seems to be, I've tested a few times, and it seems to consistently be an issue. In theory, from the tutorial we learned about doing energy transfer. So this is not a big issue, not a game a showstopper or whatever. Oops, I'm just going to go back there a little bit. We're going to just maneuver carefully this one with our linears on because we're close. We're going to just maneuver this down here.
Low energy.
So that the front of this Hulk... Oh, funnily enough, I completely ran out of energy. So let me just press G and turn the grid online for a moment. So I can bring the ship to a standstill. That's funny. All right. But yeah, these two should be lined up enough now.
Grid on grid.
Make sure it's come to a full stop. These two should be able to transfer from this free empty part of the Hulk there. You need all this part. You need an empty tier 2 slot. And this empty slot down here on the front, these two should be able to transfer energy between each other. So if we right click on this one, or we're controlling this ship, and we say send energy, and we take control of this ship, right click on that Hulk. If like now it doesn't pop up, just double click to another unit and go back to it. Right click, go into management and say receive energy. Now what should happen is this one, that's looks like it's turned off again. Yeah, this one should send energy from its stores into this one. That worked in the tutorial. Now I've reported this as a bug because I sincerely believe it to be one. These two are not passing energy to one another.
Warning,
at all.
Low energy.
If I turn the grid on,
online.
Because there might, maybe that's the issue. You can see they're really lined up. If I got them any closer, they'd want to merge and dock with each other. If I turn the grid online, then the solar panels kick in and the batteries, and we start storing up energy that we're creating. So it's a little bit, I don't know what that is, but it seems that the energy transfer, I haven't tried multiple ones yet, but it could be that anything built from a blueprint can't receive energy that way. That said, it's not that big of a big deal. Even if you didn't really want to put a lot of solar or nuclear onto your new blueprints or whatever, if you're building, say, like a wing that you wanted to attach to another ship, either bring the other ship into range and connect them together, or temporarily put some solar on there and then take it away again. And if you haven't unlocked, the tier 2 or whatever, you'll have to unlock those as we showed before. So what I'm going to do now is, because this ship keeps running out of energy when we've got all of our mining lasers on, because we've got the tier 2. And again, this is not in any way showcasing like this is how I would design and build ships or anything like that. We're just going to keep plugging through just to show that it doesn't really matter if it's like super aesthetically pleasing or anything like that. It's just, we're just getting the job done. So we're close enough now. Merging denied because of alignment issue. Okay. So zoom in a little bit. We're going to raise this up a bit so that we're kind of on the level. Okay, and then we're going to merge those two ships together. If I take over the mining ship, it's probably easier. It won't mess with the orientation so much. Click on merge ship.
Construction online.
Boom. So, little bit, as like I said, a little bit on the ugly side. Maybe could have flipped that around the other way so that the solar panels went down the back or whatever. But again, it doesn't matter, just for the sake of showcasing it. Now if I press N just to have a look, you can see that it's still forwards is still forwards, up is still up, with the research lab on the top. So it's a good visual identifier to help me remember which way is up on my ship. And now what we'll find is we've got 3 more tier 2 solar panels and a little bit more heat dissipation, plus 2 more large batteries. So we shouldn't be running out of energy anytime soon, even when we have the extra lasers on. And if we are, we can just add some more things onto here as we go. So there you go. So that's killing a number of birds with one stone, or avians with whatever it was they said in the campaign mission, what the AI said. We have enhanced, not aesthetically, but we have enhanced in functional terms our mining utility ship with more power, so that we can keep all the lasers online. Do keep in mind as well, though, that might have an impact on, like, obviously your line of sight from lasers, from weaponry and mining equipment and things like that. So do keep that in mind when you are designing things. This isn't the design I would sort of naturally go for. This is not the design you deserve to see. This is the design you got. So sorry, not sorry. So we've had a look at that, and we've had a look at storage on on the hangar ship. Hopefully that wasn't too quick. Feel free to use the timestamps and, you know, skip back and forth for the bits you might need a refresher on. And let me know if you feel I missed anything. I'm always happy for constructive ideas and feedback. Right, now, what about having a little look into some weaponry? So first thing we're going to do is we're still flashing with our character upgrades. I'm going to click on my character logo there at the top left, or press tab to bring up the operations screen. Either way works. We have Lieutenant Commander rank now from Ensign, and we can select some additional perks. The ones that it's offered me in this playthrough are increase overall weapon damage, increase laser weapon range by 30%, that's not bad, and increase mass driver range by 30%. Now we haven't unlocked that one yet, so that could be beneficial, but I don't really know much about that mass driver at this point. So I'm just going to go for overall weapon damage 30%, because that seems pretty exciting to me. So what about other weapons then, Grumbles? Well, if we go into with tab our operations interface, or you can use the bottom left side, the button for it, click on research and have a look at weapons. In here you have under energy, for example, you have our tier 1 assault lasers, and you have a line of research options. You can click and hold right mouse and drag either side to scroll through the options, and you have tactical energy weapon training, plus 10%, then plus 20, then plus 30. Those don't add up together. That is 10 or 20 or 30 as you progress along that line. And underneath here you have, and this is what we're going to look at primarily, plasma cannon, which is a much bigger, much harder hitting and much longer range weapon with a very slow rate of fire. The big exciting one to get to eventually will be the tier 3 assault laser, which I have seen in game, but I have not built myself. It's on another station later on when you make a jump. So we're going to pick up the plasma cannon, but feel free to go down the kinetic weapon route if you prefer. I've not really tried that much. I think we covered in an earlier video that generally speaking the lasers have the shorter range, at least the tier 1s do. The Gatling guns have got a moderate range. The plasma cannon has got a long range, again relative to this weaponry. I think that's about 1200 or something initially. We'll see in a minute when we build one. The flak gun is pretty short range, but it's, you know, lots of burst fire against fighters and things like that, and lots of drones coming in. And then you've got this mass driver, which I haven't built, and the tier 3 laser, which I haven't built yet, so can't talk to those at this point. Missiles I haven't looked at either, not going to worry about that at this point. So we are not going to build those plasmas on here. This is our utility belt. It's got a laser, I think, 1 left on it, and that's about it. I'm not going to try to soup this up, because simply put, taking this into battle would be pretty dangerous. So instead we're going to work on our commander ship. I'm going to leave the utility belt ship out to help with the building process. Again, we don't have much iron and silicates left. We'll see. If we need more silicates, we can get some from the Pannonia. In fact, let's do a little trade, old school style. We're going to take, withdraw. We're going to take from the Pannonia to grab a bunch of, we might as well just grab all of it. We'll do that because that can run with little package deliveries over time whilst we're... did that work? It did. Yes, it did work. Okay, it's starting. So we can do that whilst we undock our other ship. So the commander, which by the way I learned, I'm not sure if this is in this patch, instead of having to click undock, which you can still do on the red button on the left, if you just click the name now, or you're hovering over it, it will actually drop the ship out. I'm not sure if it did that before. It's just something I noticed this morning when I was testing something. So this is our tougher battle weapons platform ship, where we built, for taking out pirate drones, we built a couple of lasers on it on a Hulk node, and now we're going to add a plasma cannon to that. So I'm just going to back the ship out a little bit and bring it over here to where the construction laser can work, and we've got all of these silicate packages flying through the air. One of the other reasons that I want to use this is because the commander, sort of out of the box as it were, has got very good maneuverability. It does have this nuclear engine, but we've kind of replaced or worked around that because we don't have all the nuclear power cells and we're not in a position just yet. We could be making them, but it hasn't been a focus of what we've been doing so far. So, and the reason I want to do this is because I want to show you the next little bit of progression you can do if you so choose. There's no rush to do this. It's not main objective progression. I'm going to show you some side quests that are a little bit hidden away, but worth having a look at because you can get into some nice easy combat similar to these pirate drones. In fact, we can go and have a go at taking some of those out as well. So what we're going to do is, again, we don't have any nuclear cells. Unfortunately, every time you reload the map or go into a different sector or just undock, you know, dock and undock the ship, the nuclear core will be turned back on again. If it hasn't got any fuel on board, it won't use it, so you won't waste anything. But just bear in mind that for now at least, it doesn't remember the state of whether that module was turned on and off when you bring your ship out of stasis or whatever from being docked on the hangar ship. So we're going to, where is it, weapons. We've researched the plasma cannon and we're going to build at least one, possibly two, onto our commander ship. Now, from my own experiences in my live playthrough, the preferable way to do this would be to build out from the ship. So if we got a build mode, build onto the front of the ship. In this case, we only really have the option of the Hulk node. Build another one and put the plasma guns on there. And the reason I would do that is because range is so precise, fairly precise in this game. The further forward your guns are, the less of the rest of your ship you have to put at risk when you're teetering on the edge and trying to keep things like just in and out of range. So this is why, for example, my other blueprint, if I show you that briefly, if I got a build mode and I say add a build point and I say blueprints and I just hover over my commander ship there, you can see that I've built onto there. I've unlocked this scaffold node and I've built another Hulk at the front. I've put a tier 2 array on there with a bunch of additional Gatling and tier 1 lasers on it, and then I've put the big plasma guns on that ball just behind, so that you've got additional pieces here at the front that can both fire but also act like a shield or an additional protection, additional layer of armor. We're going to just remove that build point there. So that would be what I would kind of advise, but for the sake of this early on, because we're not getting into, the reason I built that was after learning from a much harder fight later on. Because we're only going to be taking on moderately or fairly easy fights, we're going to not worry so much about that straight away. So click build mode on your commander and then click on a tier 2 slot. It's being blocked by those solar panels. So what we're going to do instead, is the beauty when you do these things kind of live with everyone. We're doing it live. We're going to change our layout a little bit. We're going to just simply put some tier 2 solar panels on the bottom of our ship. Hopefully they won't get shot off. That will produce a lot more energy anyway, which we need for the ship. And keep our batteries nice and filled up. And then what that will also allow us to do is to deconstruct these ones. I'm going to actually just disassemble them and put them into storage. We covered that in the last video. So right click, management, disassemble. So they go into part storage. You can see there, they're 10 tons each. So we've got 2 of them. We now have 2 of these panels, so we have way more power generation than we had before anyway. And this should have freed up enough space that if we press build, we should be able to put a... Oh, it's blocked by something else. It's blocked by that other laser. Okay. So we'll do the same here. Right click that laser, click disassemble. Right click that laser And we'll disassemble that one as well for now because we're going to move it somewhere else. Now we should be able to press build plus tier 2 plasma cannon. Oh, phew, it worked. So I'm going to put a tier 2 plasma cannon on there. And then we're going to, you know, I kind of feel like I'm making a slight mistake here, but I'll show you why in a moment. Should be good fun. So we're going to put one on the top and one at the bottom. Hopefully we'll have enough resources for that. We might be short on cobalt. Let's have a look on this ship. No, we have plenty of cobalt still on board. Oh, are we short on iron? Maybe. Oh, one gun is done already. That's great. We are one piece of iron short. Would you believe it? Ha! We have 101 iron on our refining ship, so that's good. That's funny. Just being one iron short. So yeah, this, like I said, is this still going? I feel like this one has stopped for some reason. Is the oh, I think the remaining chunk is that too small now? Are we need to reattach? I'm not sure. Oh, output is full. Oh. So you are still sending stuff across, but we've actually outpaced the automated job. There you go. Okay, nothing else wrong then. Right, back to here. Sorry for the little side quest there, the little distraction. So we need literally one piece of iron to finish this ship off. How wonderful. So what was construction laser?
Construction completed.
Do its job. Oh, there we go. Construction completed. Done already. Okay, now the next thing you'll notice is that these two guns shows offline because contrary to the tier 1 assault lasers, these need one person each, I believe, to operate. If you hover over them. Oh no, sorry, it's 4 each. Ah, yeah, that's right. So they need 4 personnel each. So we're going to have to hire some more people. You can do this on your commander ship by right-clicking on the bridge and clicking the button hire. This will cost you 1,000 credits and 1 water, the same as if you did it on your other ships. And the other thing we've got to be careful of, we're going to add more people. That means more consumption of water. We've got 3.5 hours of real time available right now. So it would make a lot of sense to get some water shipped across to this vessel as well. I believe on here we've got 7 hours worth of water. So I'm going to just do a quick trade between these two ships and deposit some water. Oh, there's no cargo bay on here. Ha! Ha! More fool me. Okay, I think that means we should just build. Oh, we're running out of spaces. All right, that extra node would have come in handy. Oh wow, this has started to fire already. Okay, this shows you the range that we were talking about. That was unexpected. That shows you also how close that other station is to here. So yeah, there you go, plasma gun range. Brilliant. What I'm going to do is click build on there. I'm going to grab one to the rear here. I'm going to add a small cargo bay, and that's going to allow us to transfer some stuff remotely across. See if I can get this close enough. I was sending the little shuttle across to build it. We weren't close enough with our laser. It's always a bit of a juggle. Oh, this is also because it's on the rear side of it as well. I can't even see it. Alright, there we go. So we showed you a bit of everything right now on this episode. Bit of mining, bit of lack of preparation of having enough resources on board. It's all part of the fun. But this shows you as well how you can, you know, fairly easily recover with what we've set up so far. So again, whatever designs you've come up with, however you're progressing, these are just useful skills, I think, to build up through the course of the game, get the experiences, and know how to recover from certain scenarios. There we go. Lifted the chin up a bit, so that we could get the laser in on the job. Okay, so now what we can do is right-click and trade between them. We're going to withdraw from the mining ship a little bit of water. We can only go up to 100 anyway, so we'll just grab 35 water from there. Now, I was going to go and show you us getting into combat, but the guns decided they already wanted to engage. So, where before, if we click on our mining ship, we've got that one assault laser. We had an assault laser, we had one that is 20 megawatt consumption when firing, damage per second plus 30% buff from our skills and whatnot, 19.5 a second, and range 500 meters. When we go to the commander and we hover over our plasma cannon, we have energy consumption 750 per shot, because it's not a constant stream, as you saw. Damage per hit plus 30% because we took that buff when we leveled up at the start of this episode, or just early in this episode, plus 30%, so we're doing 65 damage per shot. Attack speed is 1 shot every 3 seconds, and range is 1,300 meters. Pretty impressive. The other really important thing to know, with plasma guns is, in fact for all weapons, but in particular the plasma guns, is to know about their firing arcs. So if we right click on our plasma gun and put it in weapons group 1, and then we right click on our other one and put that in weapons group 1, now we can hover anytime we want over weapons group 1 on the second bar down here near the kind of toolbar, if you will, and you'll see an overlay of the firing arcs. Now these are a little bit tricky to interpret, I think. You know, you might disagree, but essentially they'll show you spheres of where you can generally hit and a cone of where you cannot hit. So if you see that sphere, they have a huge range. That's showing in the full range of them, and they have a huge area where they can get line of sight and fire and hit things. What they also have is a quite significant cone directly above the cannon, or if it's underneath the ship, then below, if you want to think of it that way. So you can see this cone here. I can't really keep it on the screen and then show you. In fact, I can click on toggle overlays, I think, and I can do weapon ranges. Yes, there you go. So that's how you can keep that on the screen. So essentially what this means is this gun on the top can cover all of this big sort of spherical area, but it cannot shoot at all into this cone. So directly above is its blind spot. And if we look underneath our ship, because we have one directly underneath, you can see that directly below our commander would be our blind spot for the ship, but the coverage kind of laterally and at most of the angles here is really solid, really good. So you can make out of that whatever you will in terms of your own, how you want to set your guns up and get your most coverage. If I just actually briefly compare that with the firing arc of the assault laser, there you go. So there's the assault lasers, much shorter range, as you can see. And again, I'm not quite clear on, well, essentially what this means for that is over here you wouldn't be able to shoot, over here you wouldn't be able to shoot, but within there you've got from this angle. So you want to be kind of max to close to max range is good, and that will give you the bigger arcs to fire with on the lasers. So anyway, that's a little bit of how you can get to grips with firing the lasers. I hope that wasn't too quick. Bottom bar, bottom left, toggle overlays, click on HUD configuration box, and then you can see ranges. You can do the same for your mining lasers if they're, again, it's based on your active ship, so only relevant if they're on board, if you're on board a ship with that capability. So I click on that ship and I click mining. There you can see my mining lasers and the blind spots. If I click on construction, you can see where my construction laser can fire, and that has a blind spot directly above as well. That's why we're always fiddly moving around and adjusting so that we get a good angle with it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so turn that overlay off. Now let's go test out, as if we haven't seen it already firing, our new weapons. As long as we keep things forward of us and not directly above or below, we'll be able to hopefully get both of these firing. There we go, pew pew. There we go. Wonderful. Now part of this patch 4 means that these guns also now have individual sounds. In the previous patch, they were terribly quiet, and it was a little bit disconcerting. We were just blowing stuff to pieces without hearing a peep out of them. It was rather odd. So now, again, based on those arcs and that range, you'll get a hang slowly. You'll get some experience.
Low energy.
Okay, we have low energy. Now, here's the next thing. Those weapons take an awful lot of energy to fire, so we may have insufficient. If I just turn weapon range on again, you can probably zoom out and then see what is in range and what's going to be fired at. Remember that enemy objects will glow up, will fully glow like that when they're in range. These are actually responding and looks like they're moving into attack or whatever.
Warning, low energy.
So yeah, we have to be very careful. I'm going to turn that weapon range off again. But yeah, you'll know that you're in range of things when you see them glow up like that and that they're then being targeted. Remember as well now that we have a situation where we're going to drift a little bit. Even with our linear dampeners on, all of our dampeners on, we're going to drift a little bit because we're not building up enough energy quickly enough. So the ship will actually, like now, just keep rotating and turning.
Low energy.
Which is a little bit frustrating. So if that happens to you, turn your weapons offline, let your energy from your solars and whatnot build up. Remember that they have to have line of sight. It's pretty generous, but they have to be able to see the sun, of course, to gain. And yeah, so this shows that maybe we needed to either add more or we needed to make some nuclear fuel cells and run on nuclear. This is what this ship is designed to do, is to run on nuclear. Okay. So, okay, let's add a couple more solar panels, tier 2. Underneath like that. And then we can maybe get the ship a little bit more comfortably operational. Gonna just move back to the utility belt while we get that done. Get back in range and position of the laser. Again, remembering that it can't fire above. So we're going to just show our belly a little bit. It's got a good range, so is that close enough? Maybe yeah, there we go. Now we're close enough. Okay, we'll get some more solar cells added on just to make it a little bit more comfortable.
Construction completed.
There's one.
Construction
There's
completed.
2. Wonderful. And I'll turn build mode off to make it a little bit easier. And yeah, off we go. Let's go looking for trouble a bit more again. Now, these are really soft targets, essentially. If you get too close to them, they will
Weapons online.
fire at you, and things could become rather awkward rather quickly. Because it's a numbers game. So if there's a lot of them shooting at you, you might take quite significant damage. And if you took a lot of damage, typically what they'll do is they won't target the weapon itself, they'll target the Hulk node. If you lose that Hulk node, the guns will explode and it will destroy the guns. So no bueno. Again, that's why I did that other design that featured extending it like a protrusion at the front so that we had more of a buffer, if you will.
Warning, low energy.
To whatever was valuable. That's still not enough energy. Okay, you really want to run this on with either many more solar panels. You know that solar wing that we built earlier? We could probably build another one and slap it on the top of this. That would have been a good use. I'm surprised that we're still not gaining enough energy, but again, it shows how much energy these plasma guns are utilizing. So if you see a perk in your upgrades,
low energy,
it could be worth switching over to or taking any perk that says reduced energy consumption or more power generation, bigger batteries, anything like that could be useful. So this is again not an optimal build. I'm kind of laughing at myself because I'm trying to guide new players or players to just getting to grips with it. I'm trying to guide you through this, and I have to chuckle a little bit when I'm showing things that are suboptimal and think, I hope you appreciate that we could do this a lot better, but
Warning.
it's maybe
Low
worth
energy.
seeing the worst case scenario, and then you know that pretty much anything you're going to do is going to be better. Now, for these drones, you wouldn't have to have gone into plasma guns. Again, this is just a choice I've made just to show them off and listen to the new pew pew sounds as well. It's the first time I'm hearing them. Another thing you could do is we could go to one of the guns, right click, and we could say stop, so that that one stops firing. And then we just rely on one shot every 30 seconds, and it'll still get the job done. You can see it's taking about 1 to 2 shots
Low energy.
per. But if we're only using one gun, then there's a lot more time between shots, and we can build energy up, and that way our energy reserves will not get cooked so quickly. Feel free to stay with the assault lasers and just use those to get the job done. That means you'll have to get a lot closer. So, but again, if you move slowly and carefully, you'll be all right. All right, there we go. So we've now got our energy filling back up again. We've taken out all of those drones, and we're getting this reclaimed Junker station. This derelict station's been overrun by rogue drones. Oh, has it? All right. There we go. It wants us to get into a fight. Bring firepower. Make sure you're paid up on your insurance. There we go. Well, as it turns out, we didn't need an insurance. The only thing we needed was a better energy policy. But in any case, look, now we have this completely cleared. We have a much more combat capable ship, albeit it's going to need a lot more energy. But this is all already processed ores. We go to our mining ship, our little utility belt, and we're going to bring this up and do a quick scan, and let's see what we've won. This wasn't actually the encounter I was going to show you, but to be honest, this is a much safer encounter and a much more straightforward one. And perhaps looking at all the blueprints and the hangar cargo and looking at some basic weapons and the differences between the plasma guns and the lasers is a better bet anyway. So we can come up here,
Scanners online.
and turn our scanners online. Again, just be careful with your speed and distance. Oh, I'm gonna turn the mining offline because we want to scan everything before we mine it, just to make sure we know what we're going to get, and we're going to get the most.
Mining online.
No way. Oh, I right-clicked on it somewhere. Turn the mining off again. There we go. But be careful where you're clicking. But you can see, look at the sheer scale of this. We've not, since that first big debris job, this is probably, I think, even bigger than that one. Just move your vessel with your scanning capability very carefully around this. Scan it all. And look what we're getting. Cobalt, iron. Now, here's an exciting part. This one we can leave you on a real high. Some of this debris, again, if you double click on any of these nodes, it'll send your camera on it. This debris here, and this is why you want to scan, this one has got Eonite in it. That means processed Eonite. That is not Eonite fuel cells. You'll have to turn it into that. And we won't get into that in this episode. But that Eonite, you can either sell it and make a fortune, or you can use that, turn that into additional fuel, and then you'll be, how is it the kids say, jumping for days. Doing space jumps for days, something like that. So again, go around, spend a little bit of time, scan all of this, get your mining lasers on, and get some free Eonite. I would not recommend selling it. I recommend holding on to that, and in a future episode, we'll have a look at manufacturing and turning that into fuel cells, which again, the further down the processing chain, typically you'll get even more money for if you sell. But in addition, obviously, it's all about making these big space jumps, right? And not running out of fuel and getting stranded somewhere. So in this case, we'll be able to turn that into fuel, get the job done. Now, you don't have to scan this whole thing up front. You can always do it bit by bit. So scan mining lasers, grab the materials,
Mining online.
scan the next bit, that kind of thing. Again, that's entirely up to you how you want to go about doing this. I recommend making sure that you get the scans in.
Mining offline.
I keep misclicking, right-clicking on here, and it's turning the lasers on, which is a little bit fiddly.
Mining online.
I didn't click anything that time.
Mining offline.
I just hovered over it. So that was weird. Okay, whatever. But yeah, so I recommend just going around. Just take the time. Again, this game is all about, you know, patience and enjoying the process and the journey rather than rush. So take your time, scan it all in. You never know what you're going to find. And what is it, like Forrest Gump, you know? Salvaging's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But Eonite is worth lots of money and even more valuable as very limited fuel. So there you go. Hopefully that will have benefited you greatly and you can have fun cutting this all down. All right, hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought and if you're enjoying the series still. And yeah, don't forget, thumbs up. Appreciate you. Take care, good vibes, and happy star mining. Alright guys, I promised you a bonus of 200 Eonite fuel if you would dutifully watch till the end of the video. I'm assuming you didn't use the timestamps and sneak through early. So here we go. Click onto your mothership, your hangar ship, the Pannonia 2. In control of that, we're going to jump back using the map system M, go to System Sol, Jupiter Orbit, Europa. We were back there a while ago. Patch 0.33.5.0, otherwise known as Patch 4, which is now on the live branch, includes the ability to take over the Loci station. Travel there for 20 Eonite fuel, and upon arrival, you can click on the Loci station. You see it has the white plus icon. Right click, possess. You now own this station. That's not all. On board that station, you will see, amongst everything else that it has aboard, 200 Eonite fuel cells. But the surprises and awesomeness don't stop there. Oh no, they certainly don't. What else could there be, Grumbles? You've just given us 200 fuel for absolutely free. Well, here's the answer. This space station absolutely fits inside your hangar ship. But there we go. If we get this ship, should be more or less within the thing now. It should be going green. Why is that not going green? This totally worked when I did this earlier. Ah, there we go. And voila! Loci station. All yours to go and claim possession of since that was fixed. If you're playing through the campaign for the first time or doing a fresh start, you will get to possess this at the end of your mission naturally anyway. But I thought it'd still be useful to know I've done the science so you don't have to. I'll save you your research points. You can fit the Loci station into your hangar ship. It's in the green. You can now press dock station and huzzah! There she is, all docked aboard. And as before, click on the Eonite cell on the right hand side at Loci station storage. Click, well, it defaults to max. Click confirm. Bang. You now have 240 Eonite fuel on board your hangar ship. One last little hint. I've reported this as a minor bug. When you exit the hangar and see your ship, it will show you 200 Eonite fuel on board in storage and not the 240 that you have. Seems to be a visual bug. I'm not sure if that will functionally impact gameplay. It also shows 200 here on the parts list. But if you go back in by clicking enter HLEV, you will find in the hangar the 240. So again, I've reported that as a bug. Hopefully that will get ironed out with a little hotfix fairly soon. I don't know if it means you only have 200 to actively jump with, but in any case. And now what you can do, if you don't want to hang around Jupiter any longer, is just go back to the Sol system, go back to Earth where all your other ships are, click travel. It's going to cost you another 20. So you've spent 40, gained 200. Not bad. Boop. Back to Earth. Bang. Wants you to jump to the Jupiter gate anyway. Or, you know, you can progress forward. But in any case, even if you're further down the line and you just never went back to pick up the Loci station, you now know how you can get yourself 200 free Eonite fuel cells. Good vibes, everyone.